M3b. We are continuing to look at slope. So first we're going to label 2 points on the line, then find the slope of the line. Today I did not give you points on the line. You needed to find 2 points on your own that cross or go through the exact center of 2 lines. Think of it as where like 2 streets are crossing, where you would turn. So as I look at my line, there are quite a few points I could use. I could use this point, 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 or there's one way up here in the corner. These are all good choices because they cross exactly in the middle of like 2 streets right here. This point would not be good because it's only like on one street. We can't turn any direction there. So we need a point that's exactly at like a whole number. So I'm just going to pick 2 of the points. I'm going to pick these 2 in the middle, but you can pick any 2 that you want. So we're going to label the points. X, Y, remember X goes left to right, Y goes up and down. We're going to label both points. This first one, remember X is first, we went -1, -2 to the left, and we didn't go up or down, that's 2, 0, -2, 0. This point down here is 1 to the left, so -1. Remember X first, X, and then Y. -1 to the left, and down -1, -2. So we labeled both of our points. Now we need to find the slope of the line. Remember, there's 2 ways we can think of slope. We can think of rise over run, or we can think of going up and down, then left to right. Y goes up and down, then left to right. Same thing with rise over run. This is like our elevator we talked about yesterday. Elevators have to go up and down first on the top of our fraction, and then left to right. So I always like to start on the left. Makes our life a little bit easier in terms of negatives. So we're going to start at this point. Get in my elevator, I'm going to go down 1, 2 to get to the other point. So down 2 is -2. And then get out on that floor and walk over 1 room to where I need to get to. So +1. We walked 1 to the right. So our slope is -2/1. If you had picked 2 different points, you would have gotten the same slope. If I picked this point and this point, we're still going to go down 2 and over 1. All right, let's take a look at our next line. This one is a horizontal line. Pick any 2 points on the line that cross at a nice whole number. We're going to label our points. This point on the left right here, we went -1, -2, and then up 2. And this point over here, we went 1 to the left, so -1, and up 2. Now, to get from one point to the next here, how many are we going up or down? Well, we're already on the same floor of our hotel, or whatever you're talking about here. We don't need to go up or down. So our slope, we went up and down 0, and over just 1. So 0 divided by 1 is really just 0. There's a poster in our classroom that says okay or no. If our slope is okay, it's just 0 with a 0 on the top. But if our 0 is on the bottom, that's not okay. If it's not okay, our slope would be undefined. An undefined line would look like this, a vertical line. But our slope of 0 is a horizontal line. So this one was okay. So our slope is 0. I would like for you to try these 2 on your own and then click play to see if you got them right. Then we'll move on to something new on the back. So pick 2 points, any 2 points. If you picked different points than I'm picking right now, that's fine. We'll get the same slope in the end if we simplify. So I'm going to label my points. My points are 0, 0, and 2, -2. And then my slope, counting up and down first, rise over run. Getting in my elevator, I'm going down 1, 2, so that's -2, and over 1, 2. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so if we simplify this, we really have -1 over 1. And if you simplify your slope, you should have the same answer. Next one was maybe a little bit more challenging. Here's a nice point on the line there, and on the line there. If you picked this point, that was another good point you can pick. So this point in the middle right here was 0 left and right and up 1. This point over here was -3 to the left and up 0. So I'm just using these 2 points for now. And we need to find our slope. Rise over run, elevator, starting on the left side, elevator goes up just 1 floor and down 1, 2, 3 rooms to get to our hotel room or wherever we're going. Our slope is 1/3. If you use this point over here, you still would go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3. All right, on the back side, we have some directions. It says make a table, use 5 points. So when we plug in numbers for x into our equation, those are the numbers we're picking, what we're going to plug in. So we want to pick some in the middle of our graph, a couple positive, and a couple negative. So we're going to pick -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. We don't want to pick only positives or only negatives because that might not end up on our graph. So here's our x values that we chose on the x-axis. We need to find, well, where are the points that we're going to plot on the y-axis? So we need to take our equation, -3x minus 2, and plug in our x's. So we have the equation -3, these are touching, times x, and x is a -2, and then minus 2. I'm going to set this up over and over and over again, doing -3 times something minus 2. -3 times something minus 2. So first we plugged in a -2, then we plugged in a -1, then we'll plug in a 0, then 1, then 2. Each time we're plugging in a different number because x is going to represent a different number each time. So remember our order of operations, we need to multiply and divide first, then add and subtract. So multiplying -3 times -2, that gives us +6, and 6 minus 2 is 4. Then, multiplying first, -3 times -1 makes a +3. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then in the middle here, anything times 0 is 0. 0 minus 2 is -2. If you notice, we're going down by 3 each time, so you could maybe predict our next number. Then -3 times 1 is -3. -3 minus 2 is all negatives. That should be a -5. And then our last number here, -3 times 2 is -6, and -6 minus 2, they're all negative, same sign. Add and keep, that's -8. So we're going to plot our points. So we made a table, we used 5 points. Now we need to graph the line, meaning plot the points. So we're going to plot x, comma, y. If you want to write it as -2, comma, 4, we can. So x was -2 to the left, and y is up 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to number the lines, you can. Down would be negatives, -2, -3. Goes to -10. So our next point, we have -1, 1. So x is -1 to the left and up 1. Then we have 0, -2, x, and then y, remember. X is 0, so we didn't go left or right, but then we went down 2. Then 1, -5, 1 to the right, and down 5, kind of right on top of my number there. And then 2, -8, 2 to the right, and down 8. And here's our straight line, right through those points. So we graphed our line. Now it says find the slope. That was our last step. You can use any of the points that are already on here. Just pick 2. You only need 2 points to find the slope. I'm going to pick these 2 up here. Our slope, remember, rise over run. We're going up and down first, then left to right. So we're going down 1, 2, 3. and over just 1. So our slope is negative 3 over 1. Let's try one more just like this. It says make a table, use 5 points. So for our x's, the ones that we're going to choose, we get to pick 5 points. And this one, the only reason I'm not going to pick the same numbers we picked last time, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, is because our slope, or our number that we're multiplying x by, is 1/2. So I'm going to pick multiples of 2, so we end up getting whole numbers. If our denominator, the number on the bottom, was a 3, I would pick multiples of 3. If the denominator on the bottom was a 4, I would pick multiples of 4. But since our denominator is a 2, I'm picking multiples of 2. So I'm going to pick 0, and then 2 and 4, so a couple positive ones. Same thing, negative. I'm going to pick a couple positive numbers and a couple negative numbers. If you picked negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, it's fine. You'll just get a decimal or a number and a half that you'll have to plot. So we have 1/2 x plus 1. So we're going to do 1/2 times x. X is first going to be a negative 4, and then plus 1. Then 1/2 times x, which is negative 2 plus 1. 1/2 times 0 plus 1. 1/2 times 2 plus 1. And 1/2 times 4 plus 1. So these are the numbers that we plugged in the middle here. Oops. Come on. So now we just need to multiply. 1/2 times 4. You can either think what's half of 4, or you can multiply it out like this. 1/2 times negative 4. We're going to make negative 4 a fraction as well. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. 2 times 1 is 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it's negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. Now that was a lot to multiply this out like this. If you just want to think what's half of 4, well, half of 4 is 2. So we have a negative 2 plus 1. So now we have 1/2 times negative 2. So think what's half of 2? Well, half of 2 is just 1, and it's negative. So we have negative 1 and then plus 1, which is 0. Negative 1, then 0. Then we have 1/2 times 0. Anything times 0 is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So as you can see, we're developing a pattern. Negative 1, 0, positive 1. Next, after 1, we're going up by 1, should be 2, and then 3. Let's check. Half of 2 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Half of 4 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So we did them correctly. Now we need to just plot our points. So x, y is our first point right here, negative 4, negative 1. So x and then y. X is negative 4 to the left. Negative 1 is down 1. I'm going to erase these numbers. I'm just going to count. If you need them, that's fine. We went 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left and down 1. Then negative 2, 0. So 2 to the left, and we didn't go up or down. Then 0, 1. X is 0. We didn't go left or right, just up 1. As you can see, we're starting to form a pattern. Then 2, 2, 2 to the right, positive 2, positive 2. And then 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, up 3. If your line is not straight, we made a mistake. And then our last step, find the slope. Pick any 2 points. I'm just going to pick these 2. Our slope is rise over run. Counting up and down first, we're going up 1. And left and right on the bottom, we're running 1, 2. Which happens to be exactly what we had right here. This first one worked out the same. A slope of 3 divided by 1 is just 3. That's exactly what we multiplied our x by. Alright, front side of your homework is slope. Back side is making a table and graphing. There are not tables for you.